Colbyjack.net is proud to present From the Flames by Trisha M. Wilson. The people of the fire, the Blesa, led by their queens, have ruled the island of Alfeyju and oppressed the Driva, the people of the ice, for more than 16 generations. With the Drivian King in hiding and little hope on the horizon, the Driva looked to one person to save them from the vile Blesa, the Diviana. According to legend, the divinely gifted Diviana will one day overthrow the Blesa and restore the Drivian King to his rightful throne. But with the search having lasted for more than 400 years, will the Diviana ever come to light? Willow is the slave of the Raskpil family. But at the age of 4, 20 years have passed since her life irrevocably changed. Her existence is no worse than any other slave, but within, Willow wonders if there isn't something more she should be doing with her life other than serving the ungrateful. Ordered to travel with her master's family to Sondertoft, so her master's adult children can take part in an ancient rite of passage, Willow is shocked when she learns that she too must participate. Will she fail, as all before her have? Will she rise to the challenge and become stronger after passing through the flames? From the Flames, Episode 22, Chapter 12, The Tapestries. "You will start your journey after the flax is harvested," Astrid announced at breakfast in the beginning of August. "You think I'm ready?" Willow asked, surprised at Astrid's statement. Up to this point, Astrid had given Willow no indication that she thought Willow was ready to start her quest. She'd encouraged Willow to train harder and harder as every day passed, sometimes to the point of exhaustion. But never had she said she believed Willow was ready to leave the nest. "I have watched you, Hawk, and that boy, Sigurd, train very hard, and I believe you can protect yourself fairly well. That does not mean, however, that you can't be hurt. But you have enough control over your powers that I believe you are ready. Also, the Book of Ivy can only be reached during the month of September. So either you leave then, or you wait another year. And we don't have time to wait." "What about the men outside the mist? They're still out there. I can sense them. I know they'll attack the second I leave the protection of the mist," Willow said, worry in her voice. "I can conceal you temporarily, at least until you are out of their sight. After, however, you would be on your own. Perhaps you still have an unrevealed power or two that would help you in this type of situation." "How far do we have to travel?" Hawk asked, his mind somewhere else. "Should I get the Faruf ready to sail?" "No," Astrid said. "You will travel by horse toward the old border of Simafrid, to the town of Fridrosa. Fridrosa is in the very center of Alfeyju. In the years before the war, it was the only town loyal to both peoples. It gradually spilled over each border, interconnecting the two very different groups. It was also the only Drivian stronghold never attacked. According to my research, the Book of Ivy is someplace in or around the town." "You can't be more specific than that?" Willow asked, thinking how hard it would be to search an entire town. "Perhaps in a few days. But right now, Hawk, you need to train. As for you, Willow, you will study my tapestries. They will help in your future journeys. When you are finished, you may go train with Hawk." "Tapestries?" Willow repeated. "Yes, the tapestries. My 5 tapestries," Astrid said, getting up and leaving the room. "She wants me to look at tapestries. Do you ever understand her?" Willow asked Hawk. "Sometimes. She always has a reason for everything she does, but it sometimes takes months or years to know that reason. Happy studying." Finished with breakfast, Willow walked into the entrance hall. On the wall was the first intricate tapestry framed in dark red wood. Willow stood before the tapestry and studied it, trying to take in every single detail. As she'd noted before, the warp and weave were seamless, making the tapestry look as if it were made of canvas and paint instead of dyed threads. Looking past the beautiful workmanship, the tapestry depicted two women hovering over a large book in a rock-honed room. Remember what Ashford said about only being able to find the Book of Ivy during September? Willow took a step closer to the tapestry. This could be her best and only clue to its location. The two women, possibly the two sorceresses who had created Val and the other sacred objects, had their backs to her. She saw that one of the women had darker, long hair, while the other woman's hair was bright red. Other than that, she couldn't make out their features. Between the women, on a very large table, was a thick book. The Book of Ivy, presumably. Willow strained her eyes, trying to make out the book's details, but the tapestry was too vague and lacking in detail. All she could make out was the general shape of the book, and that it was open. Taking her eyes off the book, Willow was surprised to see a staff, which looked a lot like Val, leaning against the table, not even a foot away from the book. "Val, were you present when the sorceresses placed the Book of Ivy?" Willow asked. "Maybe. I don't exactly remember," Val said sleepily. "You don't remember?" "Not really. I remember the sound of water, and then we were inside this cave, and they were mumbling over some old book. It was all very confusing," Val said vaguely. Turning her attention back to the scene in front of her, Willow examined the room the women were standing in. The gray rock walls looked carved, but the room was so large it would be impossible for man to have done it. Water, on the other hand, and time could have done the job easily. "This is where the Book of Ivy must be. When we are in Fridrosa, we must look to see if there is water nearby." Willow scanned the tapestry for a few more minutes, but she couldn't glean any more information from it. It was as if the weavers of the tapestry had deliberately left out key details. Frustrated, Willow moved to the sitting area. This was a room which Ashford rarely used. However, Willow remembered seeing a tapestry in the room when she had first toured the huge home. Willow dragged a chair in front of the tapestry and settled in before turning her attention to it. It had a desperate feeling to it, Willow decided. Yes, it was a very desperate tapestry. Much different from the first tapestry, which had a feeling of excitement and mystery. The desperate feeling came from the two women, who were by a small pool of water. These women were not the same women from the first tapestry, but like those women, their features were hidden, not betraying even a hint of their identities. One woman knelt over the other, who was lying flat on her back. The one kneeling held her hands over the other woman's body. What she was trying to do, Willow didn't know, for what good would come from holding one's hands over another's? Looking closer at the women, Willow saw something on the wrists of the one kneeling. The objects looked almost like bracelets or cuffs, but the tapestry again wasn't very clear. Willow wouldn't even have believed they were bracelets or cuffs if the objects hadn't encircled both wrists. Following the first woman's hands to the woman on the ground, Willow had to blink in surprise. Upon the woman, Willow saw a reddish substance, perhaps blood, coming from her chest or stomach. Like most things, the tapestry wasn't clear, but there was definitely something red on the woman's light brown blouse. If it was blood, that would explain the desperation, Willow felt. But what did the kneeling woman hope to do? Holding her hands in the air over the other person's body wasn't going to stop the blood. If the woman wanted to stop the blood, why didn't she put her hands on the other woman? Why didn't she apply pressure to the wound or get the woman aid? "The bracelets must have something to do with it," she murmured. "Perhaps they can heal or prevent death. Do you have any idea, Val?" Val didn't answer. "I'll take that as a no." Finding no more information, Willow moved to the next tapestry, which was in Ashford's study. Coming to a stop at the dominating door, Willow knocked. She received no response, so Willow knocked again. Again, after waiting a few minutes, she received no greeting. Willow slowly turned the doorknob and pushed the door open only a crack. If Ashford was in the room, Willow didn't want to interrupt her. There were 2 other tapestries she could examine if Ashford wanted more time alone. This work is released under Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, Share-alike license. Do what you want with it. Remix it, re-record it, transcribe it, share it. Just don't sell it or change the terms of the license. Your creation must be released under an Attribution, Non-Commercial, Share-alike license. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.